Hello everybody, welcome to Catherine Sews. Thank you so much for joining me today. I recently thrifted these white pants for summer and I love them. I love all the details. I think they're really fun and funky, but they're super tight in the waist. I can button them, but I'm slowly dying right now. So today, all I'm gonna do is show you a really fast way of inserting just a little triangle of fabric into the waistband. So I happen to also have another pair of white jeans from a video I made a couple years ago, and they were really fun, but I think I'm ready to let them go. So I'm going to cut those ones off into shorts and then just use a little piece of fabric to enlarge the waist on these ones. It's going to be pretty fast and pretty beginner friendly. So if that sounds good to you, then let's get busy. So to cut these ones off, I've drawn my line with my friction pen, and now I just want to fold them this way, as if there's a crease in the front. So this is the side seam. This one is split. That is fine. I just want to make sure it's smooth where I'm cutting. So you can tell here the back goes a little bit longer than the front. I've got right angles though at front and back. I want to make sure of that. So now I'm just going to cut. I know my line's super messy, but if I just make sure I'm coming in at a right angle on this edge, and I just kind of clean up my line as I go. That is it. So there we go. So then it's not too short at the inseam. You can see how much longer the back is. That's going to be good. So I'll throw those in the wash to get rid of my friction pen lines and also to fray it up. So that's done. And now I have this whole section to add into the waist of the other pair. So this waistband is double layer and both are raw edges on the side here. So I'm going to try to mimic that. Okay, so first is taking the waistband off a little bit in that area. And none of these stitches look like they're chain stitch. So I'm not just going to be able to unzip it all. I'm going to have to pick. So this is going to take a little bit of time. On the serging, if I can pull out the straight stitch, that will speed me up a little bit on the serging. But you know what? It's really strong thread. So I think I'm just going to be doing this, just picking my way across. So I will do that and come right back. Okay, so I've opened up that side seam to about 6 inches down from the waist. And now I really don't have much choice except to cut right through that waistband. So I'm going to cut pretty much where the seam was. There. Okay. There. That's the scary part. After that, you're fine. So from the legs that I cut off to make the shorts, I've cut 4 triangles, and they are about 5 inches long, 4 inches wide, and that's what I'm going to set into where I opened. Now, the reason I've got 4 is because I'm doubling it up so that when I wash it and it frays, hopefully it's going to mimic this 2-layer waistband. So what I want to do is sew this to both fronts, try it on, and then kind of bring the background and pin that in place so I get a good fit. So I want to sew just sort of a normal seam in this area below the waistband. And I won't catch the very top edge of it because the top edge has to kind of get sandwiched in the waistband. But I'm lining up the top of the waistband with the top of my triangle, and I'm lining up the edge of the triangle with the edge of the pant, both layers of the triangle there. And I've got these triangles both right side out so that that twill side is facing out. Line up at the top, line up the sides, and so most of that. I did make a little nick there. That was an accident. So I'll have to sew inside that. Okay, so normal seam here, and this is short enough that it helps me to avoid that stud. I opened the seam more than I had to. If I had just gone to that stud, it would be easier to close it up, but I think I'm going to be fine. So to the machine, and I'm just going to sew that part. Okay, so not right up to the top because I want to leave that little area to sandwich. Right about there will do. And I'm aiming to sew in the original seam line. My stitch length is at a 3. I'm just going to come down to the bottom of the triangle. That's it. This one I'm starting at the bottom of the triangle just so that I have the edge on my right and that original seam line facing up. So now with that triangle like that, I'm going to just try it on with the back kind of pinned in place and just get a good fit before I finalize everything. So with it just pinned like this, I tried it on and it fits great. I'm happy with it. I could tweak it a bit if I needed to, but that's exactly what I need. So remember, this front part is sewn just from the waistband down. Like, that's the only part that's sewn right now. Everything else now, I'm going to sew from the outside. I'll come down here and follow where that line of stitching originally had been, and then I can do a little bit of horizontal stitching at the waistband. And then I'll toss it into the washing machine. That'll fray up, and I think that's going to be good. I just have to be cautious for this, that I get enough of an overlap at that point. Okay, that should be all right. I also want to double check that everything is laying nice and flat on the inside. I don't want any folds of this triangle. So on this side, it's just the waistband that I'm sewing, because this part here is already sewn. And then I might as well turn and do my horizontal bits. Okay, and then this whole side. So I have to be cautious of that big stud and make my way around it, hopefully still going straight. If I have to, I could switch to a zipper foot if it just won't let me go straight over that. There, no big problem. My little horizontal lines on this side. Okay, that's pretty great. Now, on the inside, I have some extra here that I can just get rid of. I can zigzag that edge if I want to, or I can just leave it. I think I'm going to leave it. So same thing on the other side. So that was pretty easy. Actually, that was much easier than I expected. So then I'll just trim off my extra, and these are going to go straight into the wash to hopefully fray up nice. And then I don't think anyone's going to think twice about that triangle. Okay, so these have been washed and that middle part frayed up nice. But of course, the one thing I forgot was to sew these horizontal lines across the top of the V, because right now this is just like a little pocket. So I might as well connect these lines and these lines. And I'm going to do that with a stitch length of 3.5, just so it more closely mimics the original stitching. So the shorts are cut off for shorts. That'll be fun to wear. And the jeans are also done, and I can breathe in them. And I just love the look of these. They're really fun to wear, and I'm so glad that I was able to make them comfortable. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that was helpful for you. And if it was, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it so much. And until next time on Catherine Sews, you take care.